Welcome everyone to our Learn About World Relief program. We are so excited to partner with World Relief for our summer reading program this year. Our theme is Read to Color Your World. And if we reach our goal, the Library Foundation and the Friends of the Library will each donate $1,000 to World Relief. So if you haven't signed up for summer reading yet, you can do that on our website. And I invited Holly here tonight to tell you about World Relief and what they do. So I will introduce her really quickly. Holly Sen is the Volunteer Mobilization Director for World Relief in Chicagoland and oversees all of World Relief Chicagoland's volunteer engagement efforts across 3 sites. Since her initial engagement with World Relief as a volunteer in 2011, she has since served as a volunteer coordinator and in other volunteer-specific roles on staff, moving into the director position in mid-2019. Holly loves working in a cross-cultural setting impacted by her life experience growing up in Kazakhstan, studying theater in St. Petersburg, Russia, and after college teaching in Hunan Province, China. So Holly, take it away.
Thanks, Brenna. It's great to be here with you all tonight. And I am going to share my screen and share a little bit about who World Relief is and what we do. You might be familiar, you might have not been keeping up with some changes in the last few years. There's been a lot of changes in the whole world in the last few years. So I want to update you all about that, and then want to spend the bulk of the time talking about how in Glen Ellyn and DuPage County you can be getting involved, and that could look like some voluntary service, could look like working with World Relief. So we'll talk through all those different things after I unpack who World Relief is a little bit. So let me get my screen sharing going here. There we go. So yeah, this is a brief overview of who World Relief is and what we do. We did become a regional office across Chicagoland nearly 2 years ago. I may be off by a month or two, but close to the 2-year mark. So that includes our office that's located in the city in Albany Park, and our office in DuPage County, which the site is located in Carroll Stream, and then also our office in downtown Aurora. So 3 locations. I'm one of the privileged folks who gets to work through all of our 3 locations. And with that work, we work with over 350 churches, as well as other community partners, such as the Glen Ellyn Public Library, and over 1,000 volunteers each year to serve more than 6,800 immigrants and refugees each year. So it's a big work, but we intentionally don't do it alone, and definitely couldn't do it alone. And really, really value the impact and engagement of the community in the work that we do. So I'm just going to talk briefly about our different services that we provide as an organization, but know that within all of these services, there is community engagement and volunteers contributing, partners like the Glen Ellyn Public Library contributing throughout these different departments and service areas. So the first one is our family services, which serves both newly arriving refugees, asylum seekers, and then other immigrant families who need support through housing, case management, cultural orientation to life in America, and then connections to community resources. So this helps to lead towards integration into local communities. And we have several volunteer opportunities and such that engage within this focus. If you look down, I have 2 here. One is our legal services, which represents immigrants, including refugees, in a wide variety of immigration legal processes, such as green card applications or applying for citizenship, applying for DACA, renewing documents like that. Also, a unique piece of what we do in this department is we help families who have relatives still abroad, like if their family has been not able to come to America altogether. We do a lot of family reunification work, which is really wonderful. And we're an accredited agency in that, and also our services are very low cost and affordable. And then we have also an employment department that works with refugees and immigrants in their career paths, whether they are starting their first job in America, or maybe they have been here for some years and they want to get into a vocational training program, or they want to get their credentials from their career overseas validated for them to be able to work in their field again in the United States. Whatever the case may be, we can come alongside them and support them and help them make strides in that way. And that's also so rewarding. And then the last three down here, I'll go across. One is our education department, which is our English as a second language, or ESL classes. And this department works with adults, refugees and immigrants, teaching them the vital skills of English language acquisition. We have a unique program in that we have a gateway level class. And what that means is that is a class for English language learners who are not fluent, not the word fluent, who are not literate in their own native tongue. So they've not learned to read and write in their own language, and now they are learning a second language, which is just they are so impressive. And then we go up several levels in English language acquisition. We also have a counseling department, which helps refugees and immigrants to deal with past trauma and the current stress of adjusting to a new culture, and navigate those different aspects of mental health. And then we have a children and youth department, which works with our families who have children ages 0 to 18, helping them be prepared for both the academic side of school in America and even navigating the American school system, which maybe some of us also could use support navigating with our children, but also socially and emotionally adjusting to life in America from where they have come. And that's really important because children are often in such a juxtaposition where their parents, carry more of a cultural identity from their home culture, and children are still in that cultural development stage as they're growing up. So they're more of an in-between generation as they come to the US and settle here. Yep. So that's a very quick overview of what we do at World Relief. But as I said, we do it all with engagement from the community. I want to mention briefly some exciting news, and this is all on our website, so you can find it there, chicagoland.worldrelief.org. And I'm showing you things tonight that are all located here under Get Involved, so you can find them easily in the future. But we are at a point at World Relief right now where we are rebuilding a lot of our, particularly our refugee resettlement support structure for newly arriving refugees coming to America. Because as you may know, over the last 4 years or so, that the volume of refugees permitted to enter the United States has been decreased year by year under the Trump administration. And we are seeing under the Biden administration that it's increasing again, thankfully. So we're very excited about that, but that's also meaning that we are needing to rebuild some of our staffing and rebuild some of our structures to be ready to receive those people, finding housing for them, and providing these services I've just mentioned to them. We anticipate that we will see around 300 or so new refugees arrive in the coming fiscal year, which starts October 1st until September 30th, just within DuPage County. And then an additional 200 or 250 in both Chicago and Aurora. So a big volume. We're very excited about it. That's more of a historic norm for us. Not the most we've ever done in a year, but much more of a historic norm. So do want to mention that we are hiring many positions as we prepare to be ready to welcome that many people. Positions in volunteer coordination, in case management, health coordination, and so on. ESL instructors, those working with youth, those working with immigrant family services. Many different opportunities are open, and immigrant legal services. So want to encourage you, if you're interested in this line of work, to keep your eyes peeled on our website and be paying attention to these job postings and please apply. It's kind of a hard market out there right now, so we welcome your applications. And then I want to talk about a couple aspects of ways you can contribute otherwise with World Relief. One of those is through volunteering, and I'll turn to our volunteer opportunities and explain those in just a few moments. But there are other ways to contribute as well. A financial gift. We're roughly 50% privately funded in Chicagoland. So contributing in financial partnership, whether that's as a monthly donor, as an annual donor, a one-time gift, all of those are helpful. Through donating items, and I'll turn to that in just a moment. But one item that's specifically helpful to mention is that we have a car donation program. And this is a program where we receive car donations from community members, we repair them and make sure they're roadworthy. And we also have a driving permit class that we provide to the families that we serve and help them to obtain their permit, and then help them connect with driving lessons if they need them, if they don't have someone in their community who will help them learn to drive. And then we're able to donate cars to families who are financially able to, pay for the title and pay for insurance and repairs as needed and things like that ongoing. So it's a really great program, and it helps especially in the suburbs where, as we all know, public transportation can be a little hard to navigate because it doesn't go everywhere. So most families do need a car. So this is a great program. If you have a car that's sitting around, it's a tax deductible gift and we'll put it to good use. Other items that we take for donation, and this will soon be a much more thorough list as we see more families arriving in the future, are listed here on our website. So again, you'd go to Get Involved, Donate Items, and you can see this list. We update this list at least once a month with what our top needs are so that you can know. And you can donate them to the Gary Avenue location in Carroll Stream. And so gift cards are always a good thing and can be sent by mail. And then that allows us some flexibility if we are in need of bars of soap, for example. And we've put that out here, but nobody has donated them, or we need more. We can utilize a gift card to quickly get those items in time. But then down here we have the list of, this is like our top needs list. We always put the highest need items at the top. So you can see towel and washcloth sets, sheets, hangers, tea and instant coffee, and so on are all here. Alarm clocks is a frequent one. And then we will be again able to accept much more furniture donations, which can be, these items can be used or new, unless obviously they have to be new, such as razors or shaving cream or tea. Some of them obviously have to be new, but most furniture items can be donated used. We don't take bed donations. Everyone who works with us gets a new bed, but couches and coffee tables, dressers, and so on. We have been pretty full in our storage during this past year with COVID and with very few families arriving to our area. But as we expect to see more, we know that we're going to be again in a place where we're going to need more frequent donations coming in, as well as be sending them out much more frequently and rapidly. So we're excited about that, but do keep that in mind. And you can contact our donations coordinator for more information about that. And in the future, as we're having faster flow and more frequent flow of donations in and out, we're also able to usually, certainly to the Glen Ellen area, able to come and pick up the donation from you, provided that it's not wedged in a corner somewhere and immovable or something like that. But as long as it's accessible and we can get it out, we can come and take it away. You don't necessarily have to transport it to our office in order to donate it. So that's some about donations. Yeah, and then one other important way to partner is we do work a lot through church partnerships. So if you are part of a church or some other community organization or some sort of community group that you think these people in this group would be really passionate about this, or these people in this group should be really passionate about this work, we want to partner with you in engaging that group. And so we definitely encourage and welcome that kind of input from you. And you can learn more about how to engage your church here by clicking on this link on our website. So now we'll talk about, as you can see, the first step to volunteer is just to come here and fill out a volunteer application. And you'll see that button throughout this web page. But I wanted to walk through all of our volunteer opportunities, and there may be one that isn't up here yet that I'll talk about as well. But I'll just start at the top. So we have many different ways to volunteer at World Relief. And what this allows is that no matter what your availability looks like, what your family life looks like. My child is currently at the door here jumping at me. No matter what your circumstances look like, there is a way for you to contribute, even if that's just through donations or through financial partnership or through telling others about the work of World Relief and inviting them to engage. But even through volunteering, there are many different options that may have flexible schedule or less frequency. You can involve your children in, you can involve your spouse in, or do together with a friend. You can join a group in doing it. There's so many different ways to serve and to volunteer. So it's very, very flexible and allows you to choose not only what you're passionate about, but also what your life allows for. So the first one here at the top is youth tutoring. And that is, let me just take a sip of water. That's an opportunity where either in a one-on-one setting, where you are paired with a child or youth and their family, you may go to their home once a week and help them with homework and talk about school systems, talk about parenting in America, those sorts of things. Or you could also join one of our after-school clubs. And we do have one summer club happening next month, starting in July, just for a few weeks in DuPage County. It's going to be virtually held, and it'll be just a time to keep kids, English practice going, because in the summer there's often some regression when they aren't in school every day, and give them that time to practice again and get ready for going back to school in the fall. So it can be either in a group setting. Typically we have after school clubs at the schools themselves. This past year, those have all been held virtually because of COVID, of course. And so we'll see what the fall looks like. We'll likely continue to have some hybrid format if anything in person is permitted by the schools. But also we'll have that one-on-one opportunity for providing tutoring, and when it's one-on-one, you get to also provide a lot of good mentorship and things. But there's club, which is more of a group opportunity as well. The second opportunity I'll mention here is English language tutoring. Again, this is working with adults. So this is akin to engaging in an English language class, but we have some folks who cannot attend the classes because of their work schedules, or they could use really the additional help of an individual tutor. And so this is a time to practice conversational English and language skills with an adult language learner. And if both you and they are comfortable, we are at a place where you can meet in person now. You meet once a week. And I know that we need more ESL tutors, especially women right now. We have many females among our families who are asking for a tutor. So we need more of those tutors. But it's also a great opportunity to become friends through the process, because you are spending some time together every week, You're talking about many different topics. You inevitably are getting to know each other. Yeah, it's a really sweet experience. Another very similar opportunity to that is a friendship partner. And a friendship partner is a little bit less defined. So it's like the English language tutor, but take out the emphasis on practicing English and like having a lesson each week. Instead, you're visiting each week. And this is a good one for families to do together as well, where children can be participating. Maybe they don't come every week, but we often are able to pair together volunteer and refugee or immigrant families who have children of the same ages, similar ages, and the kids become friends right away because they're not as bothered by language barrier. They can just go play together and off they go. And they always give you a good topic of conversation for your visits. But a friendship partner is a great way. This is actually how I first was engaged with World Relief, was as a friendship partner. You combat loneliness. You are intentionally visiting someone each week and keeping up with them in between by text, by phone, helping them with different practical things, learning about their culture, sharing about American culture, and just providing a new friend for them in a new place. So it's a really sweet opportunity and a wonderful time, and often equally as impactful for the volunteer as for the refugee or immigrant. Another great opportunity is our young adult mentors who mentor young adults, obviously. So working with refugees as they prepare for their next step, either in their higher education or in their career path. So they might be about to finish high school, or maybe they are aging out of high school, but because of the timing of when they arrived, they won't receive a diploma. They won't be able to receive a diploma, and they need to get their GED, or they're ready to go into a vocational program or enroll in community college. These are typically young people between the ages of 18 and 24 who are so driven. They're often helping their families provide financially, so they're working. And then they're also wanting to take on something else so that they can exit the entry-level job that they're in and enter into a career field. And they're usually highly motivated by their own personal experiences, which is just awesome. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to be able to come alongside them through weekly or biweekly meetings and mentor them and help them navigate FAFSA and budgeting forms and like learning how to do these different things so that they can take those next steps into their career field in the future. The next opportunity I'll talk about is health advocates. And health advocates are similar to a friendship partner, but kind of more like an ESL tutor. They have a specific focus usually. So they are also not only remote right now. All of these opportunities, some are still happening remotely if either the volunteer or the person that they're matched with is not comfortable meeting in person yet, but many people are returning to meeting in person if they're able to. We did, of course, during COVID, have a lot more flexibility with like, it doesn't matter where you live, we can match you together because you're gonna meet by Zoom or WhatsApp or FaceTime. And so that is the case sometimes now, is like the volunteers in Chicago and the refugee or immigrant they're working with is in Aurora or in Wheaton or something like that. And so they're still meeting for the most part remotely. Maybe they get together in person once a month or something. But if geographically it makes sense for people and both of them are comfortable to meet together, we're able to have people meet together again in person, which is really exciting. And so, yeah, this health advocate opportunity is actually one that often does involve in-person engagement. Even during COVID it did, because you're often helping someone who has some higher challenges in their life, whether that is a single mom or someone with a chronic illness and they have to go to doctor's appointments regularly, or they're just learning about a medical condition that they have and they have a lot of doctor's appointments to like conduct tests and things like that. So a health advocate is a volunteer who's coming alongside that individual and partnering with them to help tackle those things and help them access resources, help them schedule appointments, and help them learn to do that over time more and more on their own. So I have a big focus on empowerment in our volunteer work, but empowerment is like a million little steps. And so it definitely takes time for people to learn and build the confidence to be able to do things like scheduling a doctor's appointment, especially if it's with a specialist or there's insurance questions on their own. And so the support of a volunteer to do that alongside them is really, really helpful. So that's another one. These, before I talk about the other two, I want to mention that all of these one-on-one opportunities, well, actually all of these opportunities are 6-month commitments, 4 to 6 month commitments weekly, and typically an hour or 2 a week. Sometimes, you know, if you're a health advocate and you're going with someone to an appointment, obviously that could be longer, could be less. So it varies a little bit. And the youth tutor opportunity is the one that we, certainly you can do just a 6-month or a 1 semester commitment, but we do hope that people will commit to doing the entire school year, because that's definitely more impactful for the child and their family to have that support all year. These last two here, and then I'm going to show you a couple others on another screen. These two are kind of drop-in opportunities. So transportation assistants, I'll explain them first, then I'll explain how the scheduling works. So transportation assistants are people who provide transportation to the families that we serve. And that includes the really unique experience of going to the airport and being the first person to greet a newly arriving refugee family. It's a really special time. But it also includes practical service of people not having a car and not having a route for public transportation to get to a doctor's appointment or to an appointment at public aid or to an appointment at their children's school. You know, these other appointments that they have to get to in the weeks and months after they have arrived. We have some really great volunteers. Some of them serve in this way every single week. And they've even like taken on, like, they just do all of this type of appointment for our office in Aurora, for example, because they've done it so much that they know how to do it, no problem. It's old news. So it's a really, really very tangible and very rewarding opportunity and way to engage, and is so appreciated by the families that we serve. And then the bottom one here, apartment setups. This is predominantly for newly arriving families, but sometimes also contributes to families who are already here, who maybe are moving into their own housing for the first time, or maybe are in their own apartment but have not had sufficient furniture for their family needs. And this is another really, really tangible, very hands-on way to engage, where volunteers are coming alongside our staff, and it's literally like you're moving. You're helping load the furniture into our moving truck from our warehouse, and then you're going to the apartment and you are helping unload the furniture and set it up. And in addition to furniture, you're helping set up things like the shower curtain, making the beds, putting the kitchen essentials that we provide into the kitchen, all those sorts of things. And the contribution of volunteers in this work makes it not take forever to do that, but also means that volunteers often bring their own special touch. We'll have volunteers who will bring a bouquet of flowers because they're setting up an apartment for a family who's arriving in the country the next day. And that little touch of just warmth is so, so wonderful, and so such a blessing, I think, for families whose volunteers do that. So these are both kind of like one-time opportunities. You like drop in when you can to do them. The way it works is if you are interested in contributing in either of these ways, we basically keep a mailing list of transportation assistance and a mailing list of apartment setup assistance. And when we have a need, we email that list and have the details there, and people can say, I'm in, I want to do it, or I can't do it this time. That's fine. We'll contact you about the next one. So we work with the typical availability that volunteers tell us, and then we send them opportunities that fit within that availability. There's no harm in, there's no penalty for not being available to do one. So like I said, we have some volunteers who serve as transportation assistants like every week. And we have some who serve a few times a year only because that's what their availability allows. And we need both. Because usually those people who can serve less frequently, they are filling in the times when the more frequent people are out of town on vacation, or they caught a cold, or something like this that prohibits them from serving in that specific instance. So definitely very needed. Two other opportunities I want to tell you about. One here is Citizenship Tutoring. And this is not even on the website yet because we are just getting ready to relaunch it after the year of COVID. But we work with so many folks who are going through their citizenship process at some stage of it. And one of the ways that we provide support for them is through citizenship tutors. Citizenship tutors serve at 5 different partner sites of ours. All of those are church partners. And we provide training to the citizenship tutors, and then they are meeting with someone once a week, and they're helping them prepare for the interview and the exam for citizenship. I think a lot of the families that we work with have the misconception, and probably a lot of us too. I've certainly learned a lot about citizenship working at World Relief, but have the misconception that, for the citizenship piece, you have to do the application, and then you need to know the answer to 100 questions about America, and that's it. And that is not true. The interview actually could cover any topic. It's a fluid interview, and so we often have folks who are really surprised by the questions that they get asked, and so they need to be able to answer questions that are surprising to them. I have a friend who served as a citizenship tutor, and she was working on some of the questions that are commonly asked with the immigrant that she was meeting with. And the question was, in what year were you married? Or maybe the phrasing was different. No. The question was, now I've given away this punchline of the story. The question was, how many times have you been married? And the woman's answer was 84. And my friend was like, I don't think that's true. So she asked it again, and that she still said 84. And so they unpacked what had happened. And the question that the woman had understood it as was, in what year were you married? Oh, 1984. No, that's not what the question is asking here. Let's explain the difference between those things. But that's really good that they actually had that conversation, because it's possible that in the interview, the question is, how many times have you been married? But a follow-up question might be, what year did you get married? So it's important to know both. So citizenship tutors tutor once a week as well. Again, we have virtual options for this. We have in-person options for this. It just depends on your preference. And then one other opportunity is in our English language classes, which is another nice group opportunity. So we have several classes. We have classes in the morning and during the day, in the evening, and even on Saturdays. And so there's a lot of flexibility for when both our students and volunteers can engage in these classes. And classroom aides will work with the same class for a trimester at least, which is about 3 to 4 months. And you'll get to know that teacher. You'll be working with that teacher. You commit to one day a week, and you're getting to know the students as well. All of our classes currently are still being held virtually. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because the students have found a lot of benefit from the classes being virtual. They don't have to find childcare for their children. They don't have to drive to get to the class. It's just been pretty convenient to be able to log on. I think we will see some in-person classes return probably next year, especially as we have more brand new in the country refugees. Sometimes that in-person piece is more important for that group. Yeah. So these are the opportunities that I wanted to walk you through. I do want to mention, let me see where I can stop. I don't have a thing to show about this, so I'll just tell you about it. But we also have ways for groups to serve together. We have some team opportunities where similar to a friendship partner where you're working one-on-one with a family and you're just providing them support and helping them with different things that come up in their adjustment to life in America. But you can do that as a team of a few people working together, maybe 2 couples or 2 or 3 couples, or some friends who maybe none of you have the time to serve every week, but you can take turns through the course of a month. So that's a great opportunity for people who may not have time for the weekly commitment, but are excited by the idea of that service opportunity. And then the other opportunity that we have is, sorry, I should mention that those teams may work with newly arriving refugees, or also, especially in our Chicago office, we are starting a new program. We have started a new program that's working with asylum seekers, and teams of volunteers from church partners are coming alongside asylum seeker families who have far less support provided to them than newly arriving refugees do by like federal programs and things. So they need a lot more support. And so we have a newer program that we started this year that's been so exciting to see how the families and the volunteers have been engaging, and it's been really, really beneficial to both of them. And then the other opportunity we have is a type of like joining in for conversation practice into an English class. And we call those conversation cafes. And we try to hold 1 or 2 a month, and it's usually a larger group opportunity. So groups of volunteers, 10 to 20 people. We've seen some different businesses like have 10 or 20 of their staff spend an hour doing this volunteer engagement as their like voluntary service for the year. We've had different church partners who've contributed groups to do this. It's done by Zoom because our classes are held by Zoom still. And so it's very, very easy. You get on, have a brief introduction, you spend time in a Zoom breakout room with you and 1 or 2 other volunteers, and then a few of the students having conversation from, prepared questions. Getting to know them a little bit. It's a really fun opportunity. The students love it, the volunteers love it, and it's just one-time thing. So that's another great opportunity too. So I've talked a lot. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to visit our website, reach out to me. Britta has my contact information. Or just contact World Relief and say you're interested in volunteering or donating or whatever, and they will connect you to the right person. But we would love to invite you into partnership with us. Again, want to mention that we are hiring a lot of positions. So if you are looking or interested in that, please also keep that in mind too. Yeah, thank you.
So Holly, I'm going to put your email address in the chat if you're okay with that, in case anybody
Perfect.
wants to reach out.
That would be great.
And yeah, we have a few minutes left. So if anyone has any questions, we'll hang out for a few minutes. Thank you so much, Holly. I learned a lot.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I have a question actually.
Sure.
And I'm sorry if you already mentioned this, but is there like one specific donation need that's the greatest at the moment?
Not at the moment. Let me go back to that website and check. Yeah, probably not one specific one at the moment. But the ones that are on the website currently are ones that we're like a little bit low on. We know that as families arriving increases, those will be the ones that we will need for sure. But yeah, definitely, I just can't say enough, like Uber gift cards or gift cards to Amazon or Walmart are always so helpful because sometimes families also have needs. We recently had, for example, an individual who like needed a wheelchair, and we were able to buy one from Walmart with gift cards that had been donated. So
Awesome.
that also allows us flexibility, not only to get the more common donation items that we gather, but also for those like one-off, like we don't normally take donations of that, but we can provide it because we have these gift cards. So yeah.
Awesome. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I think we can call it an evening. Thank you again for telling us all about World Relief.
Absolutely.
And as I mentioned, they are our summer reading partners. So if anyone would like to sign up for the summer reading program, that's another way to support them. You can find out more about that on our website. All right, have a good night.
Great. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.